showing us how to do little exercises to help us as we grow in our walk, in our journey.
Yep.
Guys, we're here to make this happen. We're looking for not only 2020, but 2019 is gonna go out with a bang. What you think?
Got that right.
And just to let you know, we do want you to know that we are aware that it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I worked with oncology patients for over 10 years. Prosthetics, garments, wigs, lymphedema garments, all kinds of things. If you need any advice for some things dealing with when you're going through your image changes, I would love to help you. Come on over to the studio, Creative Winning Beauty Studios. Ding, ding. We can help you out. Tonya is really the workout guru. She is a former owner of a gym. So she has lots of good things that we were talking about earlier today, because we have to be able to connect mind, body, and soul as we go through this journey and try to get better and stronger, and the cost and benefits of being in this journey.
Yeah, and walking in your own truth.
Walking in your truth.
Yeah, but first I want to say my hat is off to all survivors.
Yes.
Heart goes out to those who have family members that didn't survive, but we celebrate you, and we are glad that you're here to watch us. And so going into that, well, it's the cost and benefits of being on this journey. I honestly have to say that I think I'm at a time now in my life where I'm finally getting into some great moments.
Yes.
Where I can finally say, man, that was a good moment. And the reason why I refer to it as moments is because I know that 1 minute, you could be at the top of, top of the mountain, and the next minute you could be in the valley.
Yes.
So that's why, and what I've started doing is trying to be in the moment. Because a lot of times we want to rush everything. We want to get to that next place. We want to get to that next thing. Yeah. And we're so busy thinking about getting to the next thing that we can't appreciate where we are for that moment, because there are some blessings and that come along with that. Yeah. And so, we can give gratitude, for that wonderful, blessed moment or that miracle that came into our life, because life shifts so fast until it's very easy for us to shift into another gear. Yes. And forget about what just happened for us.
Amen. Because we're trying to get, like you said, to the next point.
Right.
And everything. And, really when you think about it, life is a miracle. We're living in a miracle. I mean, you made it out of thousands and thousands of other little eggs that could have been hatched.
We're not even going to talk about this sperm.
Yeah,
those little critters.
Yeah, so, you're a miracle to begin with, that you even got here.
Yeah.
And then wherever you're finding yourself, like right now in this moment, if you've been through domestic violence, if you've been through pain and suffering, if you've been through illness, you can still say, hey, I'm here, and something's going to get better. And sometimes, when I found that on my journey, that the journey is not all. Now, my middle name is Joyce, but I call myself Joy because my aunt called me Joy. But I know that life is not always all about joy. Now, most people, whenever they see me, they think, oh man, she's happy, everything must be going great. Now, that's just my natural personality.
It is.
You know what I'm saying? That's just my personality. But I feel I have pains. I go through things. I'm trying to, get to certain places, goals and stuff like that. But, I found that I had some of the best and most growth when I was in pain, and I decided not to cower under the pain, but I decided to walk through the pain.
Right.
And deal, with whatever pain I was dealing with, and deal with it in the fact that I'm going to come out of this. I'm going to be victorious. I'm looking toward the future. And sometimes that's what happens, when you lose your joy. Or let's say you never have had joy. how do you even create joy? What does that mean to you? You know, what is that? Because to one person it's one thing, one person's another. But if you begin to, like, whether you're reading, like she says, you're going to research to begin to understand about yourself, maybe about your background, and then start deciding what things bring you that positive energy. You know, what's taking you there. But I have been through things where I decided I'm going to go ahead and take this pain on, because at some point I got to take it. I got to take it at some point. So why not now? It's no better time to. I mean, you know, it's almost like I got to the point like, bring it on. Come on, what else you got? What else you got? Because I'm gonna give me another job. I'm gonna have me 3 jobs. I'm gonna have me 4 jobs. I'm gonna have me 5 jobs. Until things turn around. You know,
they do.
And it ain't no shame in my game. I mean, you know, it's like whatever it was gonna do to get me there. I mean, hey, some people, they don't want to do certain jobs because, you know, they've been at certain levels and things like that. But sometimes you just have to do what you have to do. And then when you're doing it, though, sometimes you get the biggest jewels. You get the biggest nuggets and information and knowledge, you know, comes to you. And what I do love is that even though sometimes I can be talkative, I have learned that I can just sit back and listen. That's right there is sometimes the best. Like, I love listening to Tonya. She feeds my spirit. I love listening to her because she listens and she's really like in the moment. And to our ladies that are not with us today, Shay, shout out to Shay.
Shout out to
Shay, Maria. Shout out to Becky in Italy.
Yes.
These are our other love muffins.
Yes.
And we love you guys. Be glad when you guys are back with us soon. But you know, you begin to walk through these things, and you begin to get an inner joy because you have a peace. You know that it's not over. You know, they used to say it's not over till the fat lady sings or whatever. But it's not over. If you're living and breathing and you're still here, there is a reason. What I would like to offer is everybody may not really want to help you. But there are people every once in a while that really want to help. They may not have money all the time, or they might not have like material things. Sometimes it's time. You know, it's the time well spent with a friend. Conversation. Go to the movies. Whatever, you know, it's time. And sometimes you're being around that person, you know, you pick up different strengths from them, different traits. And, you know, as we're talking, I want us to offer our mantras. Like, I'm going to start off. I would say this. I'm going to say who I am. It says, who do men say that I am? I'm going to tell you who I am.
Tell us who you are.
Tell us who you are. The place to be. You know, I'm rocking on the mic. Someone listen to me.
Wait. Did I hear right?
That's all I can remember. No.
I mean, you know what? Sometimes that is the way it is. You wrote it, but that's all you can remember.
But, you know, and I have a various background. You know what I'm saying? Like,
we
both were rapping.
Yeah, we
you
do.
know,
We
but we
rap.
both walked in many other high areas. Areas of high area, whatever you want to call it. You know, status or whatever. But, you
low
know.
or high.
Yeah, we've been there. We've been there, man. You know, and I'm glad now. Like, I wouldn't want to go back through it, but I'm glad I went through it because, you know, like I said, I wouldn't want anybody to go through it because I wouldn't want to put somebody through the things that I feel like I went through and stuff like that. But since I made it, I'm glad that I went through, made it, and if I can help somebody along the way. But I would say for my mantra that I am strong. I feel good about myself. I am happy being single at this time, but my husband's going to have an airplane, just so you know.
And listen, she's been saying that, so
I'm calling it in existence. And he's going to be a good man, too. Good man. You know, he ain't going to be like, you know, just because he got a plane, you know, that's not the case. So, but I feel I'm a healer, you know.
Yes, you are.
I'm a healer. And I love people. But I had to learn over time to have my barriers, you know, how to section it off and, you know, have my little personal barrier and everything like that. I am a writer. I like to write, you know, And
shout out to your book.
Woo! Okay, all right. My best selfie to be factor on Amazon.
Yeah.
or the Black History Museum downtown in Greensboro.
All right now.
So she's gonna be working on hers.
Shout
too.
out.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm a sister. I'm a friend.
You are.
Oh,
and I can honestly say that for me in my journey, and I know I've probably talked about this before, but I will say it again, that it was definitely Cherie who, and it's when I talked to someone else about it and I was showing them that she was the one who put her hand out. And for me, where I needed to be pulled up. And that's what Cherie did for me. She saw me, she saw something, because it was not just about a facial.
Yeah.
And she saw something, and she literally put her hand out and she brought me up. And once that happened, I started to emerge because I had been in that place for a minute. So yeah, you definitely have been a friend. You have been a confidant. You have been, you have went well and beyond, for a lot of people. And so, that's why I know that you're going to be okay. Yay. You're going to be fine, because God is going to guide you right on through, because you're doing what you're supposed to do, your purpose. And I'm here to tell you that she gives without a thought, So, my hat is off to you, and I thank you for helping me on my journey, because, I've learned things from you. And even though you don't know that, but I have. And, your entrepreneurial spirit and your go get 'em, is, what's got me back out here and saying, you know what, I can do this. I can do this. Because when you got a sister that is doing it, and even I don't have to talk to you every day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that for me is what true friendship is.
Yeah.
And, we can call each other up and bounce the ideas off, or, hey, Cherie, did you hear about this? And sometimes we don't have the time.
Yeah.
And that's okay, too. And that's what I've learned in this friendship, that it's okay.
Yeah.
But we got our eyes focused on the same goal.
On the prize.
Yeah, I'm not,
and we can go together. That's what's so fun.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind having an airplane.
Oh, yeah, you should definitely have a couple of three. I'm seeing three over here.
I wouldn't mind it now.
Yeah,
but,
I'm seeing three.
Yeah.
Because you might get yours first, and you got to come back and help me.
No, now.
But you never know. You never know.
But
see, that's it. But see, this is it. This is what we're talking about. This is what we're talking about, is real help.
Yeah.
Help when you can be happy for your friend.
Yeah.
They might get there before you.
It's a possibility.
And the thing is like, you like, hey, just don't forget me. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing. A lot of people, I used to call it the Michael Jordan level. Like, a lot of people, when you're trying to get somewhere, like they say, you say crabs in a barrel, but they pull you down. They don't want to see you get anywhere. But when you reach the Michael Jordan level, all of a sudden they knew you.
Everybody,
they went to school
they sitting up talking about you.
Everything. I mean, like, oh my gosh, like, oh, it's Michael Jordan. But the thing is, like, well, why couldn't you just boost me up along the way?
Help me. Yeah.
Why do you have to pull anybody back?
That's it.
And what I would say, Tonya, and thank you so much for those gracious, kind words that you said, because that's a blessing. And I would say about Tonya. I mean, Tonya, honestly, is such a strong person. She really, totally, knows who she is, and even though she's on her journey, she knows who she is, and that she's confident. She's not a person to be intimidated by anybody. She's not intimidated by nobody's success, because she's been way more successful than I have been at this point in my life. I mean, she's done it. She's rolled around in California with the big cars and the limos and all these things. I mean, the woman was ESPN radio announcer. Yeah. I mean, so for her to even say these things to me is a blessing to me. And sometimes we always don't know what we see in somebody. But, like when you've been through certain things, you can see like a strength, that you can see that flicker. It's something there that you know you're supposed to connect with. And if you allow the negative energy or whatever your negativeness is or whatever, you know, if you allow old ways, old thoughts, old people, friends to shadow this new opportunity that's been given to you, because you're afraid, well, what if they outshine me or whatever. That should never be a thought if you're trying to get anywhere, because you don't know. Everybody has their own strengths. Everybody has their own little diamonds, shining diamonds and stuff, you know. But when you find, every blue moon, you find people that can handle it, you know. And I've learned a lot from her. I learned listening. You know, I've learned listening because she listens very, like, well.
And that took some time. I had to learn how to do that. You know, but a lot of times in my life and where I was, I always was like the person in the back of the room. I was never the speaker. You know what I mean? So I wasn't really noticed. People didn't really pay attention. So, and then some of the things that I've been through, you know, had me withdrawn. So, and I learned at an early age from running off at the mouth and how to shut my mouth. And I can honestly say it happened. I had an incident that happened when I was in my early 20s. And it was a situation with a family member, and I had went over, I got the call, and I went over there and to help, and I was running my mouth, and I got assaulted. And so I learned a lot from that. And, you know, so you have an understanding that if you talk too much, then there's no way that you'll ever learn anything, you know. And so, and a lot of times when people are talking, we either are waiting to respond or we want to finish their sentences, and we don't even know what they're talking about. So, yeah, so that's why I even now I try to pay attention to that. That I don't do that I let people finish what they're trying to say, because maybe my response is not appropriate for what they're saying.
They were just talking about that on TV yesterday. Seriously, they were just talking about that on TV.
You know, so so that's part of why and that's been something that I've been on myself about. You know, and not just being ready to respond to somebody, but really just listening to what they have to say. You know, and also, you know, we're dealing with people that have a lot of pain and a lot of hurt and been through a lot. And so you sometimes just need to be that listening ear. And just by being that listening ear, they can move past and they can release some things just by speaking it out and getting it out, and they can release. So a lot of times in listening, especially for, you know, the place that I'm going, you know, is very important. Life coach, you have to, you know, have those ears available, you know, and you've got to be, in listening, what I find is that I can see, I listen to what people say, but I can also hear what they don't say. So that when I do respond, it's something of value. And I'm not just giving them some gobbledygook that, you know, they can't even use. You know, so that's where that listening.
So tell us who you are. Well, you told us with life coach. We heard that. Who else? Who else is telling you? What's your mantra?
Now, let me tell you something. It's taken me years to get to that point, because I've never been one to talk about myself in highlight. I've always, you know, looked at myself as needing to fix stuff.
Okay.
You know, so a lot of times when I talk about myself, I don't talk about myself to the highest level in which I should.
Yeah, you should you gotta coach yourself.
Right. And so I'm learning that. So I know, my mantra is that I'm strong. Yeah. I am fearless in most things. Okay, there's some things I'm not messing with no snakes.
No,
some things I do. There's some fears, but just in life in general, when you're talking about issues and problems and things like that, I am fearless. I feel like I am warrior by nature. I feel like, sometimes I feel balanced, and sometimes I don't. But I realize that that's okay too. I feel my mantra is, I feel like I'm coming up on peace.
That's good.
Because I crave that in my life. And peace of mind. And resilience. And I think that I'm tough. I'm durable. I'm loyal to a fault.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
I'm a Taurus, so I am definitely loyal to a fault. I stay places longer than I should. But I do it out of just making sure that I've done everything possible before I walk away.
Yeah.
I think that I feel like I'm smart.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I think that I am, that I've got common sense.
Yes, yes.
And
I love it. I love it.
But
y'all understand why we laughing. Y'all understand.
Listen, so many people watching know me, and I'm coming into the fact of feeling like I'm beautiful.
Oh yes,
and
yes,
feeling,
very beautiful.
Feeling like I'm sexy, and feeling like I'm, and I think that I've started to realize that I am, to a certain extent, a role model.
Yes.
For people. And so, but I'm loving, I'm caring, I'm kind, but I'm a bulldozer.
Yes.
And when I say that, what I mean is when the tough gets, I'm the tough that gets going. Because I can power through a situation. Once I process it, okay, this is what I got to do. I pick it up and I'm gone. Yes. And I'm gonna get it done. So I think that I'm really a problem solver.
Well, that's the best thing to be. That's what they said you should do. If nothing else, you should be a problem solver. That's awesome.
I am. I'm a problem solver.
And you're also a buddy now.
I am.
She's a buddy.
I am a workout buddy.
She's a workout buddy, honey.
That's it. You gotta do both.
Oh. I don't know where the other one is. Yeah, here it is. She is a workout buddy. Like she's located in the Charlotte area, and if you just go to her in IG, you can contact with her, and it's Boss Lady.
It's Boss Lady 4724.
So it's down you'll see in the description.
Yes.
And you can contact her, and she will work out with you for only $10 a session. She was a gym owner, so she's not just kind of coming off the cuff and thinking she Tyler Perry like me. We've been trying to have a studio.
Well, listen, you can get there. Listen, he's stuck in his car, girl.
Yes. That, you know what? And I'm glad you brought that up because
he did.
He lived in his car.
He did.
Steve Harvey.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, if you looked at my car, you thought I was living in the car.
I looked at your car today. I said, she always got something in that back seat.
I have to do the events. I have to have all the cardboard back there, But the thing is, it's so true.
Yeah.
And that's why, that's why I wanted to do this show that we're doing. Because I honestly want people to have hope.
Yeah.
I wanted people to see that, if you want to do something, stop talking about it. You don't have to have money. You don't have to have money.
You don't.
If you don't have anything but a piece of paper and a pen,
that's it.
To write it down, because once you write it, it's in the earth, it's out in the atmosphere, and things begin to line up. But if you don't know what you want and you don't write anything down, you're not going to see anything because it's just out, somewhere.
The overthinking, and that was what I used to do. And it's like, I'm gonna think about it, and I'm gonna think about it, and I'm gonna think. Months go by, and you still thinking about it.
Because it's like, because what happens is like we want everything to be perfect.
Yeah,
we want it to be perfect. Me, I'm more of a risk taker because my dad was an entrepreneur, so I just get it honest. My dad, he was a hard worker though, very hard worker. My mother was a saver, so she was not. She could have went out and had some, different really super fine things in life and all that kind of stuff. But, honestly, she just was a saver. And then what happened, people would give her things. She didn't ask anybody for anything, but people would give her suits and clothing. I mean, my dad would buy her nice things, but, like, seriously, she just took care of that house. That was what she did. She took care of that husband, that house, those kids, and that's what my mom did. But, me, coming after my dad and, seeing him get up, 4:00 in the morning or whatever and leaving the house every day, coming home for dinner and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, I want to be like him when I grow up.
That's it.
And, and I used to have to mow a bunch of grass. And, some people think that, she thinks she all that or something. She think this and that.
Well,
they think I'm
super
prissy.
I
must have really good confidence. I got good confidence because, honestly, there is many things I could be self-conscious about. But the thing about it is, I don't really have time. Like, I don't have time to be self-conscious because I'm so busy trying to make something happen. When it comes to, like, the beauty world, like when I'm working on somebody's face or skin or their makeup or whatever, honestly, I've been doing this for over 30 years. So just like you were saying earlier, like when I'm actually working on somebody, especially if I'm at the store, like if I'm out in one of the stores working on somebody, a lot of times my mind, and I would say my spirit, is going further into that person as far as if they may have a need. Now I can detect them skunks now though. I can detect the skunks, the one that's trying to get you. I can detect the ones, they know you might be a giver and they coming after you, or you might be, somebody might take advantage of you. So I detect that. Right. I'm like Tonya, I'm kind of strong, like, with that now. Yeah. But sometimes some people you're just supposed to cross their path just for like that little encouragement because, I was just so blessed to have, a few good people here and there that, came through my life and they helped lift me to that next place, or they didn't maybe look at your weaknesses. They look at what your strengths were and what, what could be. And to me, that's love. Yeah. Like that's, when you, I don't know if it's the purest form of love, but maybe a child would be the purest form of love, but to me, it's kind of a pure love that when you want goodness in man. And when we were talking about all of these things about, how to live your truth and how to, the costs and the benefits, there's a lot of costs of trying to live your truth. And we've heard it from anybody that's ever done anything. They always have had somebody that looked at them like, who do you think you are? Like, what are you doing? Like, I'm sure people will look at me like, what's she doing trying to have this talk show? What is she doing? She's never been to broadcasting school. Yeah. Doesn't matter. But, because the thing about it is what is your purpose? Like, Tyler Perry, I mean, he saved up $12,000 to do his first play. He said, and at that play, he had advertised and advertised and advertised. He had exactly, I think, like 20-some people or something like that to show up, or 30, to show up at the first play. He said, but he had bought all of their tickets or something like that. Everybody in the audience, he like knew him. Yeah. And he lost a lot of money. But it didn't stop him because his purpose was doing what he does. And as we can see now, he has a whole studio. He bought a military base. That
he just did.
Yeah. And when they first offered it to him, he was like, no, too much. That's way, I can't see that, you know. But then along the way, it began to say, hey, you need that much space for what you don't even, like Maya Angelou told Oprah, you know, you don't know what your legacy is going to be.
Right.
Because she thought the girls' school was her legacy. And Maya said, you don't know what your legacy is going to be. You know. So anyway.
She did have that deep voice.
Yeah. You know,
she did.
You know, just to be able to dream. Yeah. You know, some people, and I'm very sorry, you know, to anybody out there who your dream has been bashed. Now, sometimes we need the truth.
We do.
Sometimes some things we might kind of think that's it, but if we re-examine it, there may be something even better that's kind of almost parallel to it, but you don't walk in maybe that office, so maybe that's not really what your gift is. But don't stop trying. You know, if things are progressing and you're seeing a little progression, you start getting a little speaking engagement or just different little things. You know, a lot of times people is all about money, which we need money. We do need money. I need money. But sometimes, you know, you give of yourself because of the love that you have for what you're doing. Right. And if you have the time to do it, you know, I don't think people should take advantage of you all the time. But you just never know what door you're going to open. So, you know, people can look at you, they can laugh at you, they can ridicule you, they can talk about you. And you know what? Child, they're wasting a whole lot of energy. Yeah. So it's better for you to just keep on doing, you know, what you're doing and keep writing out your plan. You know, it says write the vision, write the vision so they can run. You know, and I think it says so much in that one little scripture because it says write the vision that they may run. We write the vision. You write the vision. But when you have a deep love about what your purpose is, it's not always just so I can run. Right. It's because it's other people coming that's going to be running with you, beside you, in front of you, behind you. Because it takes a village for us to even live now. Yeah, it does. Know? So that love that you have for it.
Yeah. I definitely, you know, I was listening to you and you know, just make sure that's when you writing that dream down that you know, if you can't sing, then don't dream of singing. Yeah. If you know, certain things, even with my kids, when they were, you know, I had to see what they were good at because, you know, one of my sons loved to play basketball. Just loved to get out there. He couldn't make the shot. He couldn't. Right. But he loved basketball. Yeah. You know, and so, you know, I had to be honest with him. I said, listen, you know, you're great at football. But, you know, basketball is just for fun. Right.
So how did he respond to that? How did he do? How did he do with it?
Well, you know.
How'd you land that plane?
Well, I just kind of eased it in there because, you know, you got to pay for that stuff until they get to a certain age. Now, I didn't mind him playing. I mean, you know, it was what it was.
And he might have become a coach. He might have become a coach or something.
Yeah, and he did the sport of basketball. But, you know, some things that we try to do is not always our forte. Yeah. You know, and that's all I'm saying. But he did. I mean, you know, he came to grips with it. Told me, he said, you know, you right. You know, but he was not a jealous kid. So if somebody else was doing really well, he would always, you know, tell him, you know, that was a good job, things like that. So he wasn't jealous or anything like that. But he did, and you know, he knew which sport he was better at, and where he really felt more comfortable. Okay. Too. Because once you're doing something that you're passionate about, it can take on a life of its own. Yes. You know, and so for me, it's taken me a while to get to that place where I know beyond a shadow of a doubt what I'm here to do and what I need to do. And you know, so I've written down, you know, and over the years my dreams have changed, but honestly when I was younger I didn't have any dreams. And it wasn't a thing to where I had people that had been to college or people that were entrepreneurs. Everybody in my family worked for a company, but they worked. So I got my work ethic. Everybody worked and they worked hard. But I didn't come from that. So it's been more of the uphill battle for me. I've been to college and I didn't really enjoy it. But I didn't know that I could have went across the country to college. I didn't know that I could have gotten a scholarship if I would have had my grades right and I would have did all the right things. So, that's the good thing now.
Would you have been like the first graduate from your family?
They have been to college, as far as I know. I mean, cousin-wise, I've got some cousins that have graduated from college, of course.
They were older than you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
But as far as just in the immediate family, I don't think they've been to college, but I don't think they graduated.
Okay.
And so, and like I said, with entrepreneurship, they worked for companies. So I just, it was there was, and then when you living with your grandparents, you're coming from, that's a generation to almost 2 generations back. So the way they operate wasn't the way the operation was going on when I was coming up.
Okay.
So you got 2 different mindsets here, and you're in one era.
Wow.
And still living in that era, but the era has changed.
and don't we know it?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And the last 10 years really has been like it used to be the information highway, and now we're living in what? What is this called? Like, what is this now?
This is just the highway.
I mean,
and I'm talking 40 going north.
And let me tell you,
what they say. That's a little saying.
You said something so powerful the other day. I mean, this was a nugget. I had been watching this a book review. Chris Hedges, I think. The Fall of the American Empire, and it was so powerful because it sounded like it was just talking about everything that was wrong with America, and I was like, oh my gosh, it sounds like doomsday. Like, is there a future? Like, does this matter? Should we even be doing anything but just like praying or something, But it was eye-opening, and it seemed very negative, but it was very true, a lot of it. And then he has traveled and went around the United States to see these places that have been basically sacrificed. This one place, Camden, New Jersey.
I know about Camden.
Yeah, and they say basically Camden, New Jersey was like a sacrifice area because of all the chemicals in the water. And everything is in like a blighted area. The jobs are gone. The jobs are overseas, and basically it's kind of like it's like no hope. I mean, there's no food. Food desert, of course. And the more I listened to it, I was very intrigued. I didn't like hearing all of these things because it was so much to try to bear, to think about. Well, what in the world do we do? I mean, is this what's going to happen
and this
to
is America?
So, then I started comparing it with my mental muscle memory. From back in, I think, junior high school when we studied Fahrenheit 451. And, all about, the burning of the books and things. And a house would never burn, but they were burning books because they were illegal.
Right.
And talking about the mechanical dog, and all those things were futuristic, and now we're seeing the mechanical dogs for real, like, some of those iBot programs and stuff like that.
Yeah, they do.
And comparing what he was talking about then, listening to what Chris Hedges was talking about, I'm like, wow, this sounds like really futuristic, But, and I started really I internalized a lot of things like that get concerned. But, Tonya said something. We were talking, and she said, because I was like, the young people, like, what are they going to do? And she said, Tell them what you said. You remember exactly what you said?
I do. I remember what I said.
Words.
I told you, I said, the kids that are being born into these last few generations and going forward are going to be equipped to live in these times.
Yeah, you said they were built for this.
They were built for it.
And I mean, I was like, boom! You know, like, when she said that, I felt like, whew, I can, like, breathe. Because, honestly, that was so powerful. Because when you think about it, now, you know, because like you said, these different generations, and, you know, I'm living in this particular generation. I'm worried about, well, what's going to be, how my son's going to be living in the next generations and all this, and, you know, what's going to happen to